What is going on, Crimson City? My name is Crimson CBAD, and I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Pokemon Global League, the PGL. We are in week number 6, I believe. We are, excuse me, we are already 6 weeks into this league, so I hope you guys are excited. If you guys are, be sure to show some love to that like button. We are currently 2-2, I believe, with the fifth week being our bye week because we were gone last week. But we are here for week 6. Excuse me, gosh, I need to clear my throat before I start speaking. Anyways, guys, we are here for week 6. We are looking to carry on our winning streak. We are on a 2-win streak right now. Awesome stuff. We are going up against Iyoku and the Blackthorn Frogadiers. I'm hoping I got that right. Either way, guys, if you guys are excited, be sure to show some love to that like button. We're going to break down, we're going to do a combo team builder battle. So if you guys don't want to see the team builder, skip ahead. But this will be really informal. Iyoku would have a really incredible team, actually. He has Megalopunny, Garchomp, Aegislash, Shaman, Slowking, Armaldo, Electros, Granbull, Empoleon, Gliscor, Simisear, and Gothitelle. He has Stealth Rock Setters in the form of Garchomp, Armaldo, Empoleon, and Gliscor. He's got Hazard Removal in the form of Armaldo and Empoleon, and then he has Clerics in the form of Granbull, Gothitelle, and Shaman. So, within this league, as I have said before in previous videos, we do allow the draft of Ubers. I forfeited mine for an extra quote-unquote OU pick. In this case, he did draft Aegislash, and in this case, also, Gothitelle is a hired pick because we do allow the use of Shadow Tag. So, things I'm fearing. Megalopunny absolutely destroys my Chansey Mega Sableye core. That's specifically why I drafted Mega Slowbro. Garchomp can be very crazy. Aegislash is a huge tank. Other than that, he has a really lot of Slowmons. I really am afraid of being Shadow Tag trapped with Gothitelle, but I do have Mega Sableye just in case. So, I'm going to slowly break down the team. As you guys can see, we are leading off with Husbando, Rocky Helmet, Regen, Slowbro, with Psyshock, Toxic, Scald, and Slack Off. I didn't want to bring Thunderwave because he does have a few things that do appreciate a Thunderwave, such as Gliscor, such as Electros, such as Garchomp. So if they get a free switch in with those, I am not okay. Granted, Toxic does heal the Gliscor and does not affect the Aegislash, but Toxic is also good for things like Slowking, even though Shaman with the Natural Cure does whittle it down. Granbull as well will be a good thing to take down. Overall residual damage. Psyshock for the stab, it also hits Megalopunny really hard. Scald for the chance to burn as well as taking advantage of that stab. Damn near max HP, max defense, 12 special attack with a Bull Nature. We're getting as much defensive bulk as we can. Anytime he brings in Megalopunny to go for a fake out, we are going to be able to switch this thing in, and he is going to take way more damage than we are. Next up, for the first time this season, we are bringing Liz, the Sneasel, holding the Dreadplate Inner Focus ability, Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, Knockoff, and Poison Jab. 100 base HP, 252 attack, 156 speed with a Jolly Nature. Let me remember correctly here. Sneasel actually does outspeed Jolly Garchomp with this set. So we do outspeed Jolly Garchomp. We are not outspeeding the Megalopunny, but we are outspeeding Jolly Garchomp and everything else. Unless he does have Scarf users. Ice Shard for the priority. Icicle Crash to take advantage of that awesome stab. That's going to be able to kill Garchomp. Shaman, it's going to do damage to Armaldo. It's going to absolutely decimate the Gliscor. Knockoff, Dreadplate Knockoff is actually a really good combination. We are going to be able to get a good size boost off on the Knockoff. If we can get something switching in, it is definitely going to hurt. Poison Jab also, we have Poison Jab. Kind of take care of Granbull on the switch, and it does catch Shaman as well. But I'm really hoping Liz can put in some work this week. She is definitely an underrated mon in League format. Next up, we do have Charge, our Thundurus there in here, holding the leftovers with Nasty Plot, Hidden Power Ice, Thunderbolt, and Dark Pulse. After a Nasty Plot, Thundurus Therian runs through his team. If I can get rid of Megalopunny, pretty much if I can get rid of anything faster in this thing, which is Megalopunny. If I can get rid of Megalopunny and the Garchomp as well, Simisear, if he does decide to bring it, is fast. It can speed tie with us. But as soon as Megalopunny and Garchomp are gone, if I can get up a Nasty Plot, Thundurus Therian is just running shop on this man's team. Hidden Power Ice is able to hit the Garchomp. It's able to do damage to Shaman. It is doing damage to Armaldo. It is doing damage to Gliscor. Thunderbolt is taking advantage of anything that is not a resist, which is Garchomp and Electros in this case, as well as the Gliscor. Dark Pulse is hitting everything else that I can't. It is doing super effective damage to Aegislash. It is doing super effective damage to Slowking and super effective damage to Gothitelle. Like I said, +2 Thundurus Therian. Knocking out everything. I didn't want to go with the Life Orb. I wanted to go with Leftovers just in case I do take a hit. I am going to be able to recover some damage off and then fire back with a heavy hit. Next up, we are bringing Simon, Life Orb, Sandrush, Excadrill, X-Scissor, Earthquake, Iron Head, and Swords Dance. With 148 in speed, we are outspeeding, I believe, Scarf Chomp. Yeah, we are outspeeding. Once the sand is up, we are outspeeding Scarf Garchomp. X-Scissor is going to be able to take advantage of things like Gothitelle. It is also going to do damage to things like Shaman and Slowking. Earthquake, if he does not have a resist, which he does not, is definitely going to hurt. Iron Head to take advantage of the stab as well, doing damage to things like Gramble. Swords Dance, because on the Switch I can pop up a Swords Dance and be able to start taking things out. Adamant Life Orb is absolutely disgusting, especially if I get the +2. To pair with that, for the first time this season, we are bringing Shukaku, the Eviolite Hippopotas, with Sandstream, Stealth Rock, Slack Off, Earthquake, and Whirlwind. I didn't want to bring any sort of Toxic on this thing, because although it would be good, I already do have Toxic on my Slowbro, and this thing is also another Mega Lopunny check. I believe Return is a 3 to 4 hit KO on Hippopotas, which is awesome. I do have reliable recovery in all 3 of my walls, which we'll get to eventually, but Slowbro has the Regenerator and Slack Off. Shukaku, the Hippopotas, has Slack Off here. I can get my rocks up really nicely. I can fire off a pretty decently sized Earthquake. It'll do some good damage. And then I can also use Whirlwind to phase out things if they do start to set up on me. I can take a hit from almost anything unless it's especially offensive, like if it's an offensive Empoleon, something like that. Shaman as well, but if he decides to get cheeky and bring Swords Dance Garchomp, Aegislash, any sort of even like a Swords Dancing Gliscor, we can just go for a Whirlwind and phase that thing right out over the rocks. Get some Sandstream damage off. Between Excadrill and Hippopotas, I do hopefully want to put in some work. Next up, we do have Gemini here, the Mega Sableye with Dark Pulse, Recover, Will-O-Wisp, and Gravity. Now this is going to be a special defensive check. Dark Pulse, he does not really have a resist to Dark Pulse outside of Empoleon and Granbull, if I'm looking at it right. Mega Lopunny also. But other than that, Dark Pulse hits everything else on his team for neutral or super effective damage. Recover for the recovery, obviously. Will-O-Wisp is there. I don't want a Will-O-Wisp. Part of me wants to Will-O-Wisp Mega Lopunny, but everybody nowadays runs Facade on Mega Lopunny just in case. But it will be good to nerf the Garchomp. It'll be good to nerf a physically offensive Aegislash. Electros as well if he decides to bring physically offensive. Granbull, unless he's bringing Quick Feet Granbull, but I do anticipate Intimidate if he does bring it. Gravity is an interesting thing. I didn't know what I wanted to bring next, and 2 things really stuck out at me. The fact that if I have a 2+2 Sand Rush Excadrill and I can kind of run shop, he does have Levitate Electros and he does have Gliscor with Gravity and neutralizes the flying type. It doesn't neutralize the flying typing, but it does allow Earthquake to hit Gliscor as well as the Electros. So I am going to go on ahead and cut for just a second. We'll be right back with the bang. Alright guys, as you guys can see on the screen, we have our team. We're here against Blizz, aka Iyoku. He is bringing the Aegislash, Garchomp, Electros, Shaman, Empoleon, and Mega Lopunny. Definitely the only things that I didn't anticipate him to bring. Empoleon was kind of, maybe he's going to bring it, maybe he's not. But I did anticipate Aegislash, Garchomp, and Mega Lopunny. Shaman is really nice. He does have kind of a good defensive core between Electros and Empoleon. Because, yeah, that Levitate ability is pretty nasty. So if I would have brought Mold Breaker, Excadrill, would have been nice. But I pretty much have a safe lead with Thunderous Therian. I have a huge safe lead with Thunderous Therian. I anticipate him to want to lead off with the gosh darn Mega Lopunny because it's a free evolution. So he does lead off with Cheshire, the Mega Lopunny, as I go on ahead and I lead with Thunderous Therian here. I don't want to take anything. I'm faster before the Mega Evolution, but I know he's going to go straight for the Fake Out. So that's some damage I don't want to take. I have a very solid counter to this with my Mega Slowbro, or not Mega Slowbro, I'm sorry, with regular Slowbro. He's going to be able to get his Mega off first turn, which is good for him. Now he is running if he's running Jolly Mega Lopunny, he can definitely outspeed everything on the team. But he's going to go for that Fake Out damage, and we're going to see just how much damage that does. That does 30 damage to us, and probably a bit more to him, because I can slack that off, I can regen that. He's going to withdraw Mega Lopunny. He wants nothing to do with this. He's going to go on to Poison Ivy, which is going to be his Shaman. So I'm going to switch out as well. I know that's the obvious switch into a Slowbro, and I'm going to go straight into Sneasel. Now, if this is an offensive set, I die to anything, but if I can connect an Icicle Crash on a low roll, I do not kill this thing, but anything like mid to high, I am able to kill. Unfortunately, I get like the lowest roll I can, and he goes for a Seed Flare here. He's an offensive Shaman, unfortunately, so he is going to be able to knock us out. Hindsight is 20/20. If I would have went for a knockoff here to get rid of that Life Orb, I would have actually had a chance to live that Seed Flare, but he is going to get the Life Orb damage. I'm going to go back out in my Thunderous. I can easily Revenge Kill with Thunderous. He's going to switch out of the Shaman. He's preserving it for whatever reason, and he's going to go out into Muramasa, the Aegislash here. So I'm in with the Thunderous. I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt. It was the easiest play in the world to make. I'm going to do a solid 25% to that Aegislash, which is nuts, because that thing is just so bulky. It's got a natural base defense, or base special defense of 150. I can go for a nasty plot here. I've got no reason not to. He can't really do much to me. He goes for a Toxic. Part of me did want to go out into Excadrill right here to kind of scare this thing out. But if he did have the Sacred Sword or the Secret Sword, whichever fighting move this thing gets, I did not want to take that. So he is unfortunately going to go for Toxic damage on me. I anticipate him this turn to go for the King Shield just to rack up that poison damage. So I'm going to go for another nasty plot here. I know Toxic damage is definitely going to take the advantage of me, but he is actually going to go on the offense. He does not go for King Shield like I anticipated. Goes for a Shadow Ball. If I would have went straight for a Dark Pulse here, that would have been awesome. But he goes for a Shadow Ball, showing he's a little specially offensive. I'm going to get my lefties recovery, but that was a huge hit on Thunderous that I did not need to take. And now it would be very smart for him to start going for those King Shields to take advantage of the toxic damage that is slowly racking up on my Thunderous. Aegislash is such a huge wall. He is going to go for the stance change. He is going to be able to go for that King Shield now, which is super unfortunate because I really want to hit this thing with the Dark Pulse. And as of right now, I got greedy with my nasty plots. I really shouldn't have, because after this turn with toxic damage, he can pretty much just go for a Shadow Sneak if he carries it and knock me out. So I'm thinking to myself, what can I do in this situation? What do I need? I have other answers for this team. You know, I've got Sand Rush. I've got reliable walls here. What can I do? He's actually going to withdraw. He's going to preserve this thing really well. Very nice on my opponent's part. And he's going to switch back out into Shaman. He's going to sack the Shaman to the +4 Dark Pulse. So Thunder is picking up a kill this week. Definitely still not using him to the full potential as I could have. But he is showing that he is still a very offensive Pokemon in League format. So toxic damage is going to whittle me all the way down to 5 HP here. Fine by me. That does mean I can sack this thing off later if need be. He brings in Cheshire. He can go for a high jump kick. He can go for a return. If it carries the Thunder Punch, he can go for that, because Lord knows I am not staying in. I'm going to switch back out into I keep saying Mega Slowbro. I'm going to switch back out into Slowbro here. Eat that Fake Out. Nom 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 nom. Be able to go for that Fake Out here. And again, it's still only doing 30. He's losing a lot of health on that Mega Lopunny. He needs to really preserve that thing. So he's going to withdraw. And now, here he goes out into Calderon, which is going to be the Empoleon. So I go for a Scald here. I'm like, please, just let me get a burn. Let me get some residual on this thing. Let me get some residual. Please, 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 please. I need some residual. We get the burn on the Empoleon, which is nice. We can chip away at this thing. If it is a specially defensive ball, we are going to be able to get residuals off if he does have the leftovers as well. He reveals the Grass Knot, which is huge. That is doing some serious damage to my Slowbro. So, good news is, though, that with Grass Knot, he is taking Rocky Helmet damage. I can go for a Psyshock here, kind of scout out. He is more specially defensive based off that damage, which is awesome. Between Rocky Helmet, Burn, we are chipping away at this thing. I don't want to take another Grass Knot, so I'm going to switch out. I know between a Psyshock, Grass Knot, Rocky Helmet combo, it will go down. But he's actually going to go for a Scald here. So I sacked the Thunderous because I did not want to take another Grass Knot with Slowbro on the chance that he did get a high roll and knock me out. But burn damage is racking up on that thing. We are taking out one of his reliable defoggers here. So after the regen, I am going to bring in my Slowbro here. He withdraws the Empoleon, actually, and he's going to switch out into Muramasa, which is the Aegislash here. I do not want to get Toxic. So I go for a Psyshock here. I don't want to. I've got a very solid answer to this thing now that I'm kind of familiar with its set. He's got Toxic. He's got Shadow Ball. He has King Shield. He has one other move. But I don't want to get, like I said, Slowbro does not need toxic damage, so I'm going to hard switch out here into Excadrill. I'm going to make that prediction that he's going to go for a Toxic. He can also go for a Shadow Ball as well, and he does go on the offensive here, which is somewhat unfortunate to me, but we do have answers for it. He's going to go for the Shadow Ball. We are able to really take that hit somewhat well. I mean, that does 97. That's doing almost half to our Excadrill. So he is going to withdraw right here. I knew I could take another Shadow Ball. I haven't seen Shadow Sneak yet. He's going to go out into Nanui, which is the Garchomp here, as I go for a Swords Dance. I'm not really sure what kind of set this Garchomp is. I know I can 2-hit KO Bulky Chomp with this. If he is just your standard Scarf Chomp, he can't outspeed me unless I have the Sand Up. I'm going to go out into Shukaku here to take the hit. I don't know what he wants to do with if I bring in my Slowbro on this thing, so I'm going to bring in Shukaku here. I'm going to get the Sand Up. He goes straight for the aggressive play, which is Earthquake, which is absolutely fine. He's going to do, you see just how little damage that does to my Shukaku. Here he sets up his rocks. We're going to trade rocks here. Absolutely fine by me. Now that I do have the stand up though, even if we obviously see that he's no longer Scarf Chomp, so I do outspeed, but that does mean he has a little bit of bulk. Here I go for the Whirlwind. He actually is faster than me and goes for the Dragon Tail. Unfortunate for me, but he does Dragon Tail me out into Excadrill. So I have, I've got kind of a little bit of offensive initiative. I don't know if he wants to stay in and go for an Earthquake. I'm going to go for an Earthquake because I want chip damage off on this Garchomp here. We see that is almost a 2-hit KO after Life Orb. If I would have had a +2 up, that would have been awesome. That would have been able to easily kill the Garchomp. But he does stay in and he goes for the Earthquake. So now I am left with 3 walls. I'm left with Slowbro, I'm left with Shukaku, and I'm left with Gemini. So I go out into Slowbro here. Hopefully I can burn this thing, kind of nerf some of its physical offense. I do have the Slack Off on here. I do have Slack Off on Shukaku, and I do have Recover on Sableye as well. So, and Sableye is yet to hit the field. He has no idea what Sableye wants to do. He goes onto this thing, and I'm like, great. I do not need to get toxic damage off on this thing. So I go for the Scald on the Aegislash. Sandstorm goes down, unfortunately, but that is actually good for us because he is steel, obviously he's a Steel type. He's not going to take any Sandstorm damage. I am not Sand type, Steel type. I will be taking Sandstorm damage. So I'm going to go back down to Shukaku. I'm going to get the Sand up one last time. If he goes for a Shadow Ball, that's definitely the more aggressive play on my opponent's part rather than going for the passive Toxic. But he does go for the Toxic here. If he went for a Shadow Ball, he probably would have knocked me out too, because I am more physically defensive than I am specially defensive. So he does get the Toxic off. Kind of unfortunate. I can go for a Slack Off. I can recover some of this damage here. I can also fear him. I can also scare him out with an Earthquake, kind of phase out his Pokemon over those Stealth Rocks here. He is going to withdraw, which is good for my opponent because he does preserve a very solid wall on his part. He does go out into Electros, actually. As I go for the Slack Off, I want to take back some of that damage that I had, which is good for us. Even though toxic damage is unfortunate, we will be racking that up over and over and over. Electros can do a number of things to me. He can have the hidden powers. He can carry Giga Drain. He can go for Knockoff to get rid of my Eviolite. He can U-turn. He can do a whole bunch of stuff, and I really don't know what he wants to do. So I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go to my specially defensive Sableye here. I can also get my Mega off just in case he does want to pull more toxic shenanigans with the Aegislash. Goes for the safe U-turn, and we see this does a tremendous amount of damage to my Sableye. Tremendous amount of damage. So now, good play on his part would be go out into the Aegislash, and he actually goes out into the Aegislash, which is somewhat unfortunate for me, but I can go for Dark Pulses. I can Will-O-Wisp for this thing as well. Unfortunately, I am taking Sandstorm damage. But now I do have the ability to Mega Evolve, get my Magic Bounce off, and I can burn this thing. I can start, because Will-O-Wisp is going to take way more HP than he's getting back with leftovers. So unless his last move is Rest, we will be in a winning battle until he starts getting Shadow Ball Special Defense drops. So I can just go for Recover here, get back all that get back all that delicious HP as he can go for a Shadow Ball here. Now this is kind of a little bit of a stally sequence here. He can go for Shadow Ball, I can go for a combination of Dark Pulse, and I can go for a combination of Recover. Because I can eat those Shadow Balls, as you can see. I can eat those between Sandstorm and Shadow Ball damage. I can eat those up, I can go for Dark Pulses, I can wear this thing down. However, I do not need him getting a special defense drop on me. So he's going to go for another Shadow Ball here. As I go for the Will-O-Wisp, I know I can take another Shadow Ball after Sandstorm damage, and I know the Sandstorm's eventually going away. So Sandstorm goes away this turn. Perfect. He gets his lefties recovery, but he's also going to lose 12% of the burn, which is awesome because as much as I don't want to stall, I do want to preserve the differential, so I will kind of stall, whittle this wall down if I can. Goes for the Shadow Ball again. It's really his only offensive move as I'm seeing, so it does bring me down to 18. I do go for Recover here. I want to play smart. My back's against the wall, but we're not out just yet. We do have 3 very solid walls, and we can start going for these moves. So, like I said, you guys are going to see a little bit of a stally sequence between burn damage, recovers, dark pulses, all this good stuff. He actually withdraws the Aegislash here, which is fine by me, and he's going to go out into the Empoleon as I'm about to go on the offense here. I know I can take 2 more Shadow Balls, so I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse here. And Mega Sableye actually picking up the first kill of the season with Dark Pulse against the Empoleon. Awesome. We did reveal our offensive presence, though, which is somewhat unfortunate. But he's going to go out into Mega Lopunny here. I don't want to take a Fake Out. I don't want to take none of that business. So I am going to switch out into my Slowbro to take this hit. Unfortunately, I've been making that switch way too much, and he switches out his Mega Lopunny right out the gate and goes back out into Electros. So I've got a few options here. I can stay in with my Slowbro. I'm a little bit ahead of the game. I know I'm switching out into Slowbro. I've got a few options here. I can stay in with my Slowbro. I can go for Scald. I can go for Psyshock. I can Toxic Damage this thing. Goes for Zap Cannon, and I damn near shit my pants. I was like, I know I can take anything from this thing. I know I can take a Wild Charge. He goes for Zap Cannon, which is the special equivalent as far as damage goes to Wild Charge, and I cannot take a Zap Cannon. I am not staying in on that, so I'm going to go out into Shikaku, predicting another Zap Cannon. I can kind of set the sand back up, get some residual damage off. I can phase this thing out over my hazards. Just get a little bit of chip damage off on whatever's coming in. Goes for the U-turn here, so if I would have stayed in with Slowbro, I would have gotten a little bit of chip damage off on this thing. I could have gotten a Scald Burn on something else coming in. However, he does make the correct play. I kid you not, when I saw Zap Cannon, my heart sank, and I was like, if this man hits it, GG. So, Garchomp is going to come in here as I take more toxic damage. He can Dragon Tail me out, that's fine. I can stay in, and I'm just going to go for EQ. I'm going to chip this thing out, because I'm pretty sure he's just going to want to phase at this point. He does, he goes for the Dragon Tail, and he misses the Dragon Tail, unfortunately. Toxic damage is racking up on me. So, he's going to go for the Earthquake here, which is fine by me. We are going to be able to take that EQ to the bank. I'm going to slack off that damage here. Like I said, I do want to preserve these walls as long as I can. I want to prevail over the offense that he has left. Right now he has the Garchomp, the Electros, the Aegislash, and the Mega Lopunny. So it's not looking good. We did have a nice lead, and now all of a sudden we're back at 4-3. Did we have a nice lead? I don't remember us having a nice lead. Either way, though, we're at 4-3, his favor. I'm going to go out into Slowbro here. If he goes for a Dragon Tail, that's going to give him more Rocky Helmet damage. He goes for the EQ. We're going to see Slowbro proving that he has a very solid physical check in the League format. I do, unfortunately, take Sandstorm damage. He's just going to stay in and keep going for EQs. He does not want any of this business. He's not going to go for the Dragon Tail. I'm going to go for the Scald here. I should have went for the Slack Off, but I do go for Scald because I know I can knock this thing out. I get a crit, which is unnecessary because the crit did not matter in this scenario. But Sandstorm subsides, which is fine by me. I know I have that regenerate ability. I should have went for Slack Off, unfortunately, but he does bring out the Aegislash. I played a little bit too aggressive when my back was against the wall. Should not have done that. He brings out the Aegislash here, and I'm going to go out into Shikaku here. I'm going to unfortunately put up the sand one more time, whittling down my own walls, so I'm kind of my own downfall at this point. And he is going to go for the goes for the stance change. He goes for the Shadow Ball here. Stance change is a thing. He's going to go for that Shadow Ball, and he is going to be able to knock out my Hippopotas. So now I am left with Mega Sableye, and I am left with Slowbro. Super unfortunate. Super unfortunate. Very hyper unfortunate for me. But we are still whittling away at this Aegislash, which is fine by me. Gemini can kind of 1v1 this thing aside from any sort of special defense drops that he may get on me, which is the unfortunate case that eventually he will get a special defense drop with these Shadow Balls. So he goes for a Shadow Ball. I know I can take one of those. I'm just going to recover off the damage. I'm going to play super smart. I'm going to, like I said, wear this thing down with Burn as much as I can. Hopefully go for a Dark Pulse here and be able to kill this thing. Sandstorm damage, again, is kind of not really my downfall here, but it is slowly taking away at my own walls. So we see we are whittling away, and this is where the lovely exchange between Will-O-Wisp and the lovely exchange between my recovers and Dark Pulses plays into effect. So he actually goes for a King Shield here. Not really sure why. I actually should have went for the cover here, but I went on the offensive to get some damage off. Go for the Dark Pulse. Sandstorm damage comes through. I guess he's trying to burn some time to get some leftovers, maybe put himself in a better situation against my Mons, which is fine by me. Absolutely fine by me. Because I'm still winning this fight. I'm still winning this battle. He's going to go on the offensive here, and he's going to be able to go for another Shadow Ball. Like I said, all I need him to do is not get a special defense drop, but I'm still winning this fight. I go for the recover here. Safest play. I knew I was around half. I knew if he went for another King Shield or whatever he went for, I knew I could eat it up. Sandstorm damage, again, unfortunately, it's only doing 9, but still, that's still annoying to have to deal with. And remember, when you're doing your calculations and stuff for these league matches, leftovers recovery and burn is going to bring him down to about half, which is really awesome. I'm okay with it. He goes for the Shadow Ball here. Stays on the offensive, stays in Blade form, so I'm going to be able to get another chunk of damage off on him. He gets the special defense drop, which is unfortunate. If I would have went for the Dark Pulse here, it probably would have knocked him out because he was in Blade form. But I'm going to recover to about damn near full. He's got the special defense drop. Unfortunately, Slowbro is not eating a Shadow Ball. And I can't eat a Shadow Ball at -1. So I can stay in, hopefully take a Shadow Ball, but I don't want to risk that. There was a chance I would have lived the Shadow Ball here. If I would have stayed in and went for the Dark Pulse, it would have killed. I could have preserved my Slowbro a little bit better, but unfortunately, I am going to switch the Slowbro in. I do not fear that, or I fear that after Rock's damage, Slowbro is not going to be able to take a Shadow Ball. Not going to be able to take a Shadow Ball. But would have stayed in, there's a chance I lived at -1, but I did not want to risk that. I did not know how much special attack investment this Aegislash had. So unfortunately, we're kind of at a losing battle at this point. We have a Mega Sableye, which is easily counterable with my Mega Lopunny. And our 2 Mega Lopunny checks are down. And even so, in the back, he does have an Electros, which is not good for us. So I'm going to bring back out my Mega Sableye here. He's just going to go for the Shadow Ball. He knows this Aegislash has pretty much made its point. Aegislash has made its point that he is just going to stay in and keep Shadow Balling me to death. I could have kind of recover stalled it, but it wouldn't have really mattered because the Mega Lopunny will come in and go for its lovely, lovely return. So here comes the Mega Lopunny here. The ultimate proof that Mega Lopunny is a phenomenal mon in the League format. He's going to go for the Fake Out. I'm not sure why. I was really kind of hoping he'd go for High Jump Kick next and miss. I went for Recover. I clicked Recover here just in case he clicked High Jump Kick. But he goes for the turn, goes for the safe play. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a 2-0 loss to the Blackthorn Frogadiers and my good friend Blizz. Make sure to go check out his channel. The link will be in the description below. Next week, I have no idea who we're facing next week. But next week, hopefully, there will be a formal team builder as well as a battle not lumped together. If you guys have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video as well as subscribe for more Pokemon content. I want to remind you guys, be great, do great, and I will talk to you all soon. Later.